All right, welcome back. So tell me if this sounds familiar. You ever feel like you're just kind of losing pieces of yourself to a screen? It's a heavy thought, right? Today in this explainer, we're going to dive right into the deep, unseen spiritual cost of our modern digital habits. We're talking about this really fascinating intersection where ancient Sufi wisdom literally meets cutting-edge neuroscience. It's all about understanding what's actually happening to our minds and, honestly, our souls in this age of the attention economy.
I want you to be completely honest with yourself for a second. Have you forgotten yourself recently? Like, have you been feeling strangely drained or just quietly disconnected from your own soul lately? You might have tried all the usual stuff, productivity hacks, digital detoxes, the whole shebang, but nothing really sticks. And you're just left with this lingering, unspoken emptiness.
Let's picture an all too familiar, kind of uncomfortable reality. It's 2 a.m., the room is totally dark, everyone else is fast asleep, but you're still awake. Your eyes are burning, your thumb is just moving on autopilot, right? Chasing one more video, one more quick hit of dopamine. We all do it. You tell yourself, okay, tonight's gonna be different. But there you are, chasing a feeling that honestly doesn't even feel good anymore. And then comes the morning. It's, say, 7:14 a.m. Your eyes open, and literally before your feet even touch the bedroom floor, before you've said a single word or even fully registered what day it is, your hand is already reaching for that device. Think about that. The absolute most sacred, quietest moment of your morning, that fragile threshold state, is just handed away before your day has even truly begun. So to really grasp this, we have to understand the difference between two very distinct concepts. Now, normal forgetfulness, which is known as Nisyan, is just human nature. It's misplacing your car keys or just totally losing track of time. No big deal. But that endless, late-night scroll, that is triggering a much more dangerous internal fading. It's not just a simple memory lapse. We're talking about a quiet, spiritual negligence. And what's amazing is that ancient Sufi psychology has a perfect diagnosis for this very modern emptiness. The term is Ghaflah. It translates to spiritual heedlessness. Basically, it's quietly forgetting yourself, forgetting your purpose, and losing your connection to your creator. The tricky part about our modern world is that Ghaflah doesn't come with some loud warning siren. It sneaks up on you, quietly arriving just one mindless scroll at a time. Now, if you're suddenly feeling a wave of guilt, just pause. Really, take a breath. It is absolutely essential to let that guilt go right now. Your digital habits are not some personal failure of willpower. You are actually living inside a highly engineered system. It's a psychological ambush. The brightest engineers on the planet have spent billions of dollars figuring out exactly how to own the very first and the very last moments of your day. I really want you to take a moment and just let this profound realization sink in. When you reach for your phone, the literal second you open your eyes, your alarm didn't wake you up. It woke them up. You came second. The engineers behind your favorite apps have essentially turned your most vulnerable waking state into their most valuable product. They are dictating the lens through which you're going to view your entire day. And this stark truth really exposes the quiet war that's happening inside all of us. It's a battle between the mindful, intentional life you actually want and the automatic escapism you end up settling for. Because every scroll is a vote against your own depth. Every swipe is just this unconscious decision to let an algorithm write the script of your morning. And no wonder that leaves you feeling like you're living someone else's life by lunchtime. So how do we find a way out? Well, we have to look at what we are actually trying to protect here. Sufi psychology talks about al-Qalb, which means that pure, unguarded clarity of the heart. Actually, scratch the idea of this being about mental organization. It's much deeper. It is about finding the stillness where your own voice is finally louder than all the noise around you. And that clarity, it is most available right in that quiet threshold, just before the rest of the world rushes in.
We absolutely must recognize this fundamental difference. Look, you can consume hundreds of videos, read endless hot takes and opinions, and still wake up feeling spiritually starving. Why? Because stimulation is not nourishment, and dopamine is for sure not fulfillment. We're using our phones to just run away from the silence where our real clarity lives, constantly distracting ourselves instead of actually feeding our souls. Which brings us to the beautiful ancient Sufi practice of hifz al-waqt. Simply put, it means protecting the moment, guarding that exact threshold of time. And what's honestly mind-blowing is that modern neuroscience perfectly mirrors this. They call it
implementation intention. By consciously protecting the very first moment of your day, you essentially stop the limbic system of your brain from being completely hijacked by an algorithm. So let's translate this into a highly actionable 10-second practice. We call it micro-muraqabah. It's designed to snap your brain out of reactive mode and into conscious observation. Here's how it works. Step 1. Just stop before grabbing the phone. Stop yourself. Step 2. Place your hand on your chest and take one slow, deep breath. Step 3. Ask yourself softly, is this feeding me or draining me? See, the point is, you do not need to delete all your apps or retreat to a cave and become a digital monk. You really just need to carve out a tiny 10-second window of awareness to interrupt the algorithm's control. Those 10 seconds literally strengthen your prefrontal cortex. They bring you right back to the present moment and give you the space to observe your impulses, rather than just blindly following them down the rabbit hole. By executing this incredibly simple pause, you are ensuring that your soul gets to arrive at your own life before some stranger's digital content does. The first moment belongs to you. Claim it. Before the feed loads, before the notifications pop up, before the endless comparisons start. If you can just own those first 10 seconds, you begin to reclaim the real clarity of your heart. You know, we often misunderstand the Islamic concept of tawbah, which simply means to return. People think it's this harsh, rigid discipline, but it's not. It is a gentle, continuous grace. Tawbah is not about achieving absolute perfection. It's just the beautiful daily act of choosing awareness over escape, again and again. Every single time you pause, you are returning to yourself and ultimately returning to your Creator. If this message is resonating with you today and you actually want to put this into practice, I've linked a completely free guide in the description. It's called the Fajr el-Nafs Protocol. It's essentially a gentle 5-day structure to help you organically reclaim those morning moments. And don't worry, it's completely without the noise and pressure of those intense, typical productivity systems. We are going to continue this journey next time in our Explainer series by exploring the other side of this modern crisis. So today we talked about the morning, right? Well, next time we'll look at what happens when the phone isn't waking you up, but is actually keeping you from resting. The spiritual battle of the 2 a.m. scroll is profound, and you definitely won't want to miss it. To wrap up, I want to leave you with a final, kind of provocative thought. Think about this morning. What were you about to think? Right before you picked up the phone, drop one word in the comments describing how you feel right now. Maybe awake, seen, ready, and maybe share what beautiful thought you might have lost to the algorithm today. Thank you so much for sharing your presence with us. Guard your attention,